Dummies.
These 4 guys on a journey through Scotch to help you with your Scotch purchases.
All right. What we got tonight, guys?
What do we have tonight? We've got something we've been sitting on for a little while. Little Glenmo 18. Glenmorangie 18. This was acquired because you guys spent some time with Dan Crowell at a dinner.
Yep.
And you guys picked this up from him. He was on those events. They actually sell. I don't want to say discounted price, but they have specials for whatever you're tasting that night, right? And this was what you guys. I missed out on the tasting, but anyway,
it was pretty awful.
It was awesome.
We've had this for a little while, and it's about time we get to it. I was looking up and found that this particular range, the 18, won whiskey of the year in 2010. So I'm excited about it.
Feels like we've had it that long.
A lot of people have a lot of good things to say about it. Obviously, it's an 18. It spends 15 of its first 15 years in ex-bourbon, and then the last 3 years in Oloroso sherry casks. So 3 full years in the Oloroso sherry. It's gonna do good things to it, right?
Sure.
I would think so.
What did you say was the ABV on it?
43%.
43%.
So we also the first time we tried this, it was actually at a food pairing. And if I remember right, wasn't this one that did well with the
creme brulee?
The creme brulee. I remember you guys really talking about that.
Honestly, it did well with everything.
Yeah, it was very good.
I'm actually excited to taste it again. It's been a minute for sure since I've had it.
Well, and I mean, you can see that we had the bottle opened at some point, but we somehow managed to refrain from finishing it off.
Which is tough.
Actually, I didn't realize that it was opened, or it probably would not very big.
Yeah, he did say that when we got the bottle out. He's like, "It's not open," and I just started laughing.
Oh, this has an awesome nose.
So we also had a chance to sample this again at a cigar shop whiskey tasting as well. Didn't go as well with the cigar nose, but I'll say it's got enough in it to
what are we expecting here, guys, from the bottle?
It's bottle of awesome.
Sherry, right?
Yeah,
So,
you're
3
years,
years.
Get
15 years ex-bourbon, 3 years Oloroso sherry.
I will say that Glenmorangie does an awesome job at cask selection. Like, they don't pick second-rate casks.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So normally I think they get a lot more flavor for their buck just because they do pick good casks and they're able to extract a lot of flavors out of them.
Well, and Glenmo is also well known for their still design. They have the tallest, longest stills in Highland.
Right, so their new make is very unique.
It's floral, it's light, that's the design of it.
Smell that?
I tasted it. I'm ahead of you this time.
This is extremely rare.
It's all orange and... Really?
So, no, but like clean tobacco.
Lots of orange, by the way. Lots of orange.
Orange and floral.
See, now, and what I wiped off the bottle, it was really sweet, and it almost smelled like creme brulee.
It smelled like... When I first put my nose in it, it was like orange and burnt sugar.
Yeah.
And it was very strong. Now the burnt sugar aroma is kind of faded, but the orange is very pronounced.
It's like dried orange on the palate, that first palate. Yeah.
A little topper on this one. It's a little shy.
What? I didn't pour you enough.
I'm not going to have enough to taste this guy. There you go.
This is
Man,
some good
that's...
stuff. So this runs about $1.25. Is that right?
I was going to ask.
100, 130.
Just over 100 somewhere.
Well,
right? Region, maybe a little more.
It's a little. I'd say $1.25 to $1.50. It's all over online. I mean,
Yeah, like everything else.
yeah, but the average seemed to be about 130. And since we
got
didn't
it
pay
on
for it, right?
Well, we got it on a special deal,
Right.
because of the tasting. So I think
It was
we were
like
closer to it,
109 or
like,
something,
I think it was over 100, but it
20%
wasn't,
off or something like that.
it wasn't hugely over
So
100.
if you're going to go to a liquor store and you're going to purchase a scotch, this is going to be one of their higher end scotches that you're going to get. It's an 18-year-old, but you're going to get a nice sweet scotch at this point. So I mean, especially if you like the Glenmorangie range, right?
And this is core range. So
It's extremely rare, but it's core range.
Extremely rare.
it is part of their core range. So it's not a special bottling, and it's readily available
So
at this time.
it's always on the top shelf
Right.
somewhere.
You would expect to be.
It's
So
it's a
I
nice
didn't-
smooth glass, though.
I didn't see anything about the coloring or filtering.
It doesn't. Well, who knows?
At 143 or 43% is kind of.
It's not a lot of color.
I
what
would
they
think
added
so.
in, but
I would reckon it has to be chill filtered.
All right. So what are you getting on the nose? What after you've all have tasted it?
You know what? There's a
nutmeg and
The orange has kind of
Nutmeg.
gone
Or
away,
nutmeg.
and I get like a lemongrassy note now. Now that I've had a chance to get it on the
See,
palate.
you said nutmeg, and way late in the palate. I mean, I haven't had a sip in a couple minutes, man. I've got like a real dried almond flavor in my mouth.
there's definitely
Yeah.
some
That,
almond.
I mean,
but not the normal almond we
this is
get.
really
It's just a little bit more like the nut, the almond itself, not the paste.
It's
not
almost like
marzipan,
smelling toasted almonds
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
tasting them.
Right,
You know
exactly.
what I
it's
mean?
real
really
faint there. But I mean, I'm just sitting here reading this stuff, and I'm like, and you said nutmeg, and I'm like, it's close, but it's not it. It's something like that, and
Yeah,
it's
just-
almond.
nuts in general.
Yeah, so it doesn't say, natural coloring or anything like that. So hard to really judge it on the color.
I will say that this has been one of the best food pairing scotches that I've tried.
I agree.
And it's I've had it with several like from appetizers to entrees to desserts, and this holds up to a lot of different foods
We should have
and
like
pairs very well with it.
so for our live when we do this, we should have some creme brulee and pair it.
If we only knew somebody that knows how to make creme brulee,
Could make that.
I can make that.
See, I must
Mark could do that.
So you know what lemon meringue is, right?
Yeah.
Is there such a thing as orange? Did they make an orange meringue?
Did you just ask me if I know?
Of course I did, because you're the chef. I mean, I'm going to the freaking source here. But do they make an orange? To me, that's what
You've
it
heard
smells
of pie, right?
like cherry.
Have you ever made a pie?
Cool.
It smells like freaking orange meringue to me, but
I get you. I can kind of get behind that, I guess.
46?
43.
43. Okay, that's what I was afraid of. I think the water's going to hurt it some.
I don't know. That nose is still good.
Honestly, I think it may bring out some notes that you can't get to without the water. I'm kind of anxious to try
It's
it.
about the same.
It has a nice depth of flavor and character.
Not-
Malty, like
a little bit of spice
sweet
in
bread.
it. There's a little bit of spice.
Yeah, I
in
think
it.
it's that nutmeg note that Drew was talking about. I get that.
I get a little bit of
It's
coffee
a
cake,
really good
maybe a
scotch.
little
I mean-
bit of,
It's cinnamon coffee cake.
yeah.
I'm not sure the palate is as good with water.
No, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure it's going to be a little weaker. 43. I mean, especially with the sweet scotch, I'm just used to kind of being disappointed a little bit. I mean, the higher ABV can hold a little more. Very few scotches that are
Honestly,
in the sweet world can hold the water.
I don't think it hurt it.
Well,
It's not bad. So when you mention coffee cake, that is completely what I'm getting. There's a little bit of sweet cinnamon or
Bread.
nutmeg. The bread of a good, of your wife's coffee cake. That bread part of it is good
Yeah.
stuff.
It is good stuff.
Oh man.
So actually, the water brought out even more of the bread, I think, in the
Yeah.
palate for me.
Huh.
Yeah,
Let this water open it up for a second
It's,
and
it's
see
kind
what's going to do
of
for
a
me.
sweet roll into bread and
All right, who wants to go?
something else.
Anybody ready?
Oh, more
Not quite yet. I'm gonna give this water a chance to just kind of.
You may need to edit.
Gosh, man, why did you put that freaking coffee cake in my back of my head? That's what I smell now. I stick my nose and I'm like, oh, man, I could go for a
You
piece
gotta
of
go
that.
home and be like,
I could
hey,
do.
wake
Yeah.
up.
Come on, babe, make some of this coffee cake.
Oh, actually, now I've got a little bit of oak on the palate, on the finish.
No,
Yeah.
some of the bourbon coming.
Wouldn't be surprised.
You know what?
You know?
It brought forward more of the spice than I thought it would.
Yeah.
It's actually really nice.
Yeah, that coffee does smell good right now.
Actually, I'm. You know what? I'll go.
All right.
So obviously I'm a big fan of Glenmorangie, and the 18, brings back memories of how good it was when we had it at that steak dinner and creme brulee, and
Yeah.
it was awesome then. And I didn't get a chance to go with you guys and have it again, but I think I've had a glass or two in between there. Maybe.
He's the one.
Regardless, it's a really good scotch. It's a nice semi-sweet, not over the top sweet scotch, but it's a nice. If you like the sweeter scotch, this is definitely in your wheelhouse, I would imagine. Plus, it's a nice richer scotch. It's got some oakiness to it. Obviously, the coffee cake we've talked about already. Some of the nutmeg, a little bit of almond, if you will. And I think it's up to you, right, on the water balance, what you want to do. What's nice about this is it does hold water pretty well.
For a 43, I'll give you that.
43, I was obviously
Yeah.
skeptical, but it does pretty good. And actually, I think with the right combination, you're going to get more tones out of this too. I think I forget that oak a minute ago. I'm curious to see when you guys go if I get anything else out of this, but I think it's a really good scotch. So we got 43. It's 18-year-old. We're about 125 to 130 range, right?
Yep.
I'm going to give this a 3. I think it's probably up there in price, but it's 18-year-old scotch. It's a good sweet scotch. It's in their range. You can get it anytime you want to. I definitely think this is worth a 3 for me.
All right. I guess it's me then, right?
Doesn't have to
You
be.
want to go?
I'm,
You can shake it up.
I'm really kind of torn on this Scotch.
Uh-oh.
But not in a bad way, in a good way, right? When you first poured it, it was like Christmas morning. It smelled like fresh peeled orange with like brown sugar and cinnamon. It was really pungent. Then that kind of faded away. I enjoyed it with a little bit of water, and I thought that it would hold it, but I was pleasantly surprised at how well it held it, especially at 43%. I thought it brought forward some of those oaky tones that you were talking about. There was more spice to it. It had some of the malty characteristic that I really liked, but there was still that orange and lemongrass kind of flavors, so it had a nice citrus note to it, which is all stuff that I would expect from a nice Highland and especially Glenmorangie. I tend to think of their scotches as more floral and fruity, and this particular one is all of those things, but it's more refined than a lot of the other core range scotches that we've had. It seems like it's not as abrasive. It just lets you kind of come to it, and it's got a lot to offer, and you can kind of dig yourself through there. I'm going to say 3.5. I really enjoyed this Scotch. I think that it offers a lot as far as food pairing goes, but it's a great glass just by itself. What you got?
Nothing. We're talking about me losing my title of Scotch when you're going 3.5.
I always held that title.
No, you didn't.
It's like the champ letting you hold his belt for a little bit.
Negatory. That's my shirt. I don't know if it's a 3.5. I don't know if it's a 3.5. I liked it both with and without water, but I honestly think that it's a big difference. It's two different scotches to me. I thought it changed it quite a bit. When I put the water on it, it brought out a lot more of the almond nose to me, and it kind of smoothed it out and mellowed everything. You still get a little bit of that spiciness, but it's a lot smoother of a drink with water. But it didn't kill the taste. It was just a little bit more almond nutty to me. Prior to the water, it did change. The first nose to the second nose to the third nose, which is kind of cool. It's fun to recognize that in a scotch. And you pour it, stick your nose in there, and then watch it evolve, right? And it was enjoyable all the way through. It's a great glass. I mean, you can't go wrong. If anyone wants to pour you one of these, you take it with a smile. I think it's worth the price. If you're going to pay $1.25, I think it's a great value for it.
Yep.
Pushing $1.50, I think that's probably stretching you a little bit. But it was all over the board when we tried to find the price. So
wait for the sale.
Yeah, it's worth $125, I think. Yeah. I'm going to stay a solid 3. And I'm not losing the title. He's just talking a big game. We'll let him have his fun.
Follow it up,
Coach.
All right. So, guys, I gotta ask: is this my wheelhouse?
No, it is not.
It is not.
Normally,
but
you have surprises.
I will say, this is a great glass, and I was trying to come up with the right term for it as you're talking through it. It's warm. It's this warm, like cuddle up kind of scotch. It's sweetness. It's like coffee cake. It's not. There's no sour. There's no off. There's no, some off flavors that draw me away from really enjoying this glass.
That's
so
true.
While not my wheelhouse, this is a great glass. It is flavorful with and without water. It's got a good nose. Man, I'm talking myself up, but I was gonna say a 3, but I'm talking myself up to a 3.
I know he's going up.
Wow, you
that's
are
pretty,
losing.
yeah.
I mean, as much as I enjoy this glass, $1.25, I would. This is worth it.
That's right in par for.
There you go.
Because for me to like a non-heavily flavored scotch as much as I like this,
Let me ask you this question.
Really unusual.
Knowing your wheelhouse, and I know what you like, what is the one flavor in here that's really getting you really into the scotch?
Well, I think it's that warm vanilla, sweet coffee cake, cinnamon, nutmeg kind of flavor. That's just that. I do like Christmas cake, and I like that the dried fruits, and this kind of is almost there.
It's a
just
soft
missing
spot
the
for
fruit.
you. Yeah.
It is. It's almost like a side.
It's got the citrus,
like
but
a
not the
side wheelhouse.
dried fruits.
Exactly.
But the orange really was only on the nose at first for me. I didn't
that didn't hang around.
Well,
See, I got it again.
Well, my initial flavor was that a dried orange.
Yeah.
It was more of that, so it's almost like dried fruit, but a little sweeter.
Wow.
Because with coffee cake, the vanilla you add to the coffee cake is a really strong flavor component. then I'm getting that lager.
It definitely, you could be blindfolded and know it's a Glenmorangie. It's got the classic Glenmo taste in the background, which is cool. That's who they are. That's their signature, right?
So, 18. What we got here? What's wrong?
353, 353. So 325. I can do that.
Wow.
I was not expecting.
That's pretty good, you guys.
You know, I was not going to give it a 3 until I started talking about it. I'm like, I can't say anything bad.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of feeling scared for Drew in the back. You're getting all cuddly and stuff. He's like,
That's what coffee cake will do
Nice
for you.
and warm and snuggly.
Well, while you're watching the backstory back there, make sure you subscribe.
Exactly. Sean and I are going to finish the bottle on it.
Guys, make sure you pound the like button and hit the subscribe button for us. We're live every Thursday, guys.
Thursday nights.
125, 18-year-old.
Glenmo 18.
Cheers to that, guys.
Man. Cheers.
Nobody would like.